This video is sponsored by Squarespace. A huge thank you to those guys for helping me to make more of the content I love. To get the very most from your training, you need to know why you're training. That way you know what to prioritize and what not to fret about. The problem is that a lot of us never do this sort of soul searching, and as such we end up falling into training programs and diet plans that aren't necessarily the most conducive to where we actually want to be. As an example, a lot of people end up following training programs that aim to get them to sub 10% body fat. This is something that a lot of people are obsessed with, and yet I think it actually has very little benefit, and in fact it might be doing more harm than good in the long run. In fact, I'd be willing to bet that 99.9% of people watching this video, unless fitness is your profession in some way, do not need sub 10% body fat. And if that's your focus right now, then you could be using your energy a lot more effectively elsewhere. Let's start with the obvious. I am not at sub 10% body fat. I'd say I'm somewhere around 15%. This fluctuates, maybe goes down to about 13 and all the way up to 16, 17, 19, I don't know. I can't tell you my exact body fat percentage because I don't care. And I know I'm not going to win any bodybuilding competitions anytime soon. However, I would certainly say that my abs are visible, and that's evidence that you can have visible abs at those higher body fat percentages. Of course, not everyone is going to have abs at 15% body fat. The reason that I do is because I train, and I train quite hard. Some people will tell you that the only thing that matters when it comes to visible abs is having a low body fat percentage, but this isn't true and I can demonstrate it. Look, here's me with my abs fully relaxed. Here's me with my abs contracted. As you can see, it makes quite a big difference. And that's because the abs are protruding more and because I'm pulling in my gut using my transverse abdomini. So simply by having stronger and bigger abdominal muscles, core muscles, you can make your core look stronger, even poking through that ample layer of additional fat. And using exercises that will also target the obliques is also really beneficial because that'll give you that extra nice detail on the sides that makes your core look more shredded, even if it isn't. But you know what? That's not actually my point. I have a huge amount of respect for people that manage to get to below 10% body fat and look super shredded. Would I like to have 6% body fat? Probably. I just don't think it's necessarily worth it. And I don't even think you necessarily need to worry about visible abs, especially if fitness isn't your job. Fitness is my job and I can't be bothered. That low body fat can rob you of your energy, it can ruin your mood, and just the fact that you're eating so little means you'll have less energy for your workouts as well. Of course, for endurance events, it's going to mean you have less reserves to dig into. Some people are really into their calisthenics, like to try and drop their body weight, of course, because then they're lifting less and they can do more impressive moves more easily. That's cool, but again, in all honesty, a few percent body fat isn't going to make a huge difference to your weight. Of course, it still makes a lot of sense to lose that weight, but again, unless you're someone who's really keen on learning the planche, you don't need to worry about it. It's actually raining pretty heavily now. Better get into the car again. Now let's take a moment to talk about today's sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace is a powerful online platform for developing modern, attractive and professional websites. It gives you all the tools to easily create your own site with zero coding necessary. This way you can turn your passion into a business. Squarespace makes this easy with a number of features. Start generating revenue through gated members-only content, manage members, send email communications and leverage audience insights, all from a single, easy-to-use platform. You also get a fully integrated commenting system with support for threaded comments, replies and likes. Share content, categorize posts, schedule publishing and more with a complete suite of blogging tools. Plus display social media posts and push social media content directly to your website. There are also powerful e-commerce capabilities that can be upgraded further with additional extensions. These help with managing inventory, promoting products, streamlining bookkeeping, reconciling and filing sales tax, shipping globally, and more. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, Bioneer viewers can get 10% off the purchase of their first website or domain by going to squarespace.com/Bioneer today. And now, on with the show. Having that little bit of extra weight also means you've got a bit of extra weight to put behind you, whether that's for throwing a punch, throwing a ball, throwing a person, or even pushing certain weights in particular exercises. Anyways, who's even really going to see your abs? You've got your top on most of the time. Did you know that most gyms won't let you take your top off whilst you're training? I know, right? So it makes sense, if you're worried about your looks, to train things that people are actually going to see, like your biceps and your neck.
Hello.
If you're trying to get to sub 10% body fat because you want to impress members of the opposite sex, then you can probably rest assured that that's not the problem. It's your personality. So a lot of productivity gurus always tell us how every single decision has a cost. They talk about decision fatigue. The very fact that you're making decisions is tiring for the brain, and this is a limited, finite source that you can deplete, thus ruining your ability to make good decisions later on in the day. This is famously why Steve Jobs would apparently wear the exact same outfit every single day. And willpower is even more difficult. Studies show that as the day goes on, we find it harder and harder to not indulge in the things that we know we shouldn't. But then in the same breath, those same gurus are like, oh, also measure every single thing you eat and avoid eating anything that you shouldn't. Because you're going to be measuring every single thing you eat, working out how many calories are in there, you're going to be turning down food left and right and eating things that you just don't find exciting a lot of the time. And when you do, you're going to be having really small portion sizes. If we're looking at becoming healthier and fitter, then is this really a healthy relationship to have with your food? And is it really a sustainable one? If you have a big weight problem and you're trying to lose weight, then counting calories is a very effective method and it can work great for a lot of people. But if you have just like slightly less visible abs than you would like, or you're just not quite as in shape as you would like, then this really is an extreme option. And especially if you're planning to do this, forever. What is important is that you're getting plenty of nutrients and that you're getting enough energy to fuel your workouts and to feel great and to sleep better. And all these things are much easier to do when you eat a little bit more. Most people can get by perfectly fine by just eating a little bit intuitively. You know if you're eating too much, and you know that if you want to lose weight, you can just cut out some of what's in your diet. Yes, this might not be the fastest way to get to sub 10%, but that's the whole point. You don't need to. Just eat sensibly, eat more natural than processed foods, and try and lower your caloric intake if you notice yourself getting a bit softer. Maybe try an intermittent fast every once in a while. It can be very healthy for you, but don't slave away and eat only dull foods just for the sake of being able to say that you have 10% body fat, because I don't think that that's healthy and it's not going to make you feel great. So I'm not saying that there's never any point to getting ripped, not at all. I'm just saying that we mustn't conflate visible abs with fitness. Having a lower body fat percentage beyond a certain point does not necessarily make you fitter than the next person. It's really a distraction. To me, fitness is about moving and feeling better. Visible abs won't improve your performance in any meaningful way, they won't make you feel better in yourself, and the process may even make you feel much worse. The same could be said for many other things that we equate with fitness. Getting a slightly bigger bicep, adding a few kilograms to a lift you're already supremely good at, or working extremely hard for a calisthenics skill when there are other more pressing aspects of your fitness missing. Again, these are all worthwhile in the right context, but they are not the same thing as being fit. Don't feel any pressure to get ripped, and before you go down that path, take a moment to ensure that's really what you want, and that it's going to be worth the effort. So thanks so much for watching this one, guys. I hope you found it useful and interesting. If you did, then please consider leaving a like and sharing it around. That helps me out immensely. Do you care about abs and lower than 10% body fat? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoy this kind of training that's more focused on performance and feeling great, although a great physique does tend to be a welcome side effect, then you might enjoy my ebook and training program, Super Functional Training. There's a discount on that right now, and there's some interesting news coming about that in the coming days. I'll put a link in the description down below. Either way, thank you so much for watching this one, and bye for now.